Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Waterstones virtual school event. Today, I am absolutely so excited to introduce you all to Neill Cameron, who is the author of the brand new Donut Squad, which is currently taking the world by storm. Neill will be doing some live drawing, answering your questions. So that will all be happening in a moment. Just some housekeeping from me. Oh, I think someone may be appearing on screen as I'm talking. So this session is being recorded as usual. Do not worry if you miss anything. You will be emailed a link to revisit the session in a couple of days. We'd also love to see any pictures of you enjoying the event or any drawings you're going to do during the event. Please do share them with us if you want to using the hashtag Waterstones virtual school events or at Waterstones Kids. I have a lovely list of pre-submitted questions, but if there is anything else that occurs to you, please do use the Q&A and the chat box to just so we can answer as many questions as we can. As you can see, Donut Squad is slowly appearing upon the screen next to me. That's all from me at the moment. But I will be back in a little bit to help with some of the drawings and then to take your questions. Neill, if you are ready, it can be over to you.
Well, thanks very much. Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Neill Cameron. I'm a comics writer and artist, illustrator, and I am the creator of the new book, Donut Squad, which just came out the other week. So I thought what we'd do is I'd introduce you to a few of the characters from the comic, and then we could have a go at drawing some of them, maybe. So I hope everyone's got drawing materials available. Just you don't need much, just a bit of paper, pencil, and we can all have a go at drawing some donuts. But I'll introduce some of the characters first of all. So I'll try and share my screen with you. 1 second, share screen. There we go, in technology marvelous. And if I then go here, so you should now be able to see a brightly colored yellow donut. Can everyone see that? I'm going to assume you can. Rhiannon will tell me if you can't. Yeah. So this is so the Donut Squad is just a comic about, as you can imagine, a bunch of donuts. A squad, in fact, you might say. This is Sprinkles, first of all, who's the leader of the Donut Squad, who's just kind of fun, happy, upbeat guy. Definitely not a sinister evil mastermind who's trying to overthrow humanity and mind control humans. Nope, not that at all. Just a fun guy. Who else have we got in the donut squad? Oh, we got Jammy Boy, who's a jam donut who gets jam on things, and he's a little bit cheeky. He's a little bit naughty. He's a little bit way. He's just a little bit of a cheeky chappy. We've got Chalky, who is the ghost of a murdered Victorian donut, which is a bit weird, but gives you a bit of a sense of what the book's like, I suppose. Justice Donut, of course, the donut who loves justice and kicking people in the face while shouting the word justice. And who else we got? Spronky. Spronky is a very weird donut. It's unclear what flavor he is supposed to be. It's unclear what those purple bits on top of him might be. It's unclear why he does any of the deeply bizarre things that he does. He's a bit of a mystery. And then, of course, my personal favorite, Anxiety Donut, the donut who suffers from severe anxiety, but shows up anyway and does things despite it. Just one rule for that the Donut Squad have, of course, is no bagels. Donuts and bagels are ancient enemies for reasons that are somewhat unclear. So we definitely won't be drawing any bagels, but we might draw some donuts. We'll see. So I think I might be ready to do a little bit of drawing if no one has any objections. So if I remember how to do that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Can everyone see the Donut Squad sign again?
All clear.
Cool, awesome. All right, so now the lovely thing about donuts, from my point of view as a comics artist, is that they're quite easy to draw. which makes my job a lot easier. My last series was called Mega Robo Bros, and it was full of epic giant fight scenes and huge, awesome, complicated robots punching each other through really busy cityscapes of futuristic London. And that was quite hard to draw. So compared to that, drawing some funny little round donuts, saying funny, silly things, oh, it's a delight. So we start by drawing, as you could probably imagine, a circle. And it doesn't have to be a perfect circle. It doesn't have to be like geometrically perfect. You don't have to use a protractor or a compass or anything like that. It's just a sort of basic donutty circle shape. And then we're going to draw another little one in the middle. And then we draw just two more up at the top. I'm hopefully going at a speed that you can follow along with, but I'll try not to go too fast. So you got one little circle in the middle, two up the top, and then little dots for eyes in the middle of those. And then we draw a little sort of triangle shape underneath. It's going to be his mouth. So this is going to be Sprinkles, I think, who's as I say, the leader of the donut squad, who's sort of because they're kind of like the default donut. They're the most sort of classic donut-y looking donut. So we'll just draw a wavy line then that goes sort of around the bottom like that. And then another little wavy line that goes sort of around his little circle, just around the top of it like that. And then we'll give him little arms and legs, very little arms and legs. So just one sort of sticking out there, just little lines sort of sticking out the side, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's make a little hand. And then we'll draw little feet down at the bottom. And then, of course, because he's Sprinkles by name and Sprinkles by nature, the one more thing we need to draw is some sprinkles. So just lots of little sort of dashes, just little short lines going in lots of different directions like that. I'm just doing this with a pen. So I've just got a black pen here. Normally these would be lots of different colors, but don't worry about that. You can always color it in later. Also, I'm drawing straight away in pen because I want you guys to be able to see the lines and sort of see what I'm drawing, okay? But if you prefer to use a pencil, obviously that's fine, and pencils can be rubbed out, of course. But I would say don't worry too much if it goes a bit wrong. Just carry on with the drawing and sort of see what it turns into. Try not to use a rubber as much as possible. That's my general rule for drawing. Okay, so there is Sprinkles, the leader of the Donut Squad. Now, I introduced a few of the other characters. I wondered if anyone had a preference for who we could draw next. So if you wanted to type in the chat if anyone has any preference, we had Jammy Boy. Let's remind ourselves. We got Jammy Boy there.
Seeing a lot of votes coming in for Jammy.
Okay,
Jammy
excellent.
seems to be taking the lead by actually quite an overwhelming majority.
Okay, excellent.
Jammy it is.
Okay, let's go with Jammy Boy. Oh, suddenly I'm seeing that all the chats pop up. Yeah, that's a lot. We'll go with Jammy Boy because he's quite fun to draw as well. So we'll go with him for now, and then maybe if we've got time, we can squeeze in one more as well. So let's see. So Jammy Boy, it's drawing a circle, but this one really don't worry about it being like a perfect circle because he's supposed to look a bit sort of wonky and a bit bumpy. So a sort of vaguely circly, donutty sort of shape like that. No hole in the middle this time because he's a filled donut, a jam donut. Although the key thing with him is that there's loads of jam just sort of flying out everywhere. So you do sort of these wavy lines on top. 1, 2, 3, like that, which is all the jam coming out the top of his head. It's almost like a sort of punk hairstyle. And then big blobs sort of flying off behind it because he's always leaping around. He's always sort of in motion. And so you want lots of jam sort of blobbing around everywhere to give that sense of movement. And you draw these little shapes to be his sunglasses. He's a cool guy who always wears sunglasses. And then eyebrows. So you want maybe one going like that. and one going up a bit, giving that little sort of cheeky expression. And that almost looks too evil, so I'm going to give him a nice grin so he looks happy and not too evil. I think he looks slightly evil. Maybe he's in a bad mood today. Then now, jam donut, of course, sort of covered in sugar, but you don't want to draw every single grain of sugar. That would take far too long and sort of look bad. So you just draw a few little dots all over him to give that sort of sense of lots of little bitty sort of texture, and a few flying off behind him, just adding to that sense of he's flying around, he's getting mess everywhere. Then little arms sticking out the side like that, and little feet sticking out in front of him like that. And then if we've got time, I'll just quickly colour in his sunglasses to be black. I think because donuts are quite easy to draw, I think I've probably got time to do one more. Was
All
there
right.
is there a sort of second
I would
most
say
popular vote, do you think?
Justice. Justice is the second.
Justice. Okay, awesome. Yeah. We'll draw a quick justice donut, sure. So I'm just starting each one on a new piece of paper as well, just so you guys can see what I'm doing as well as possible. But you can draw several of these on one piece of paper, that's fine. But I'm just trying to make it as clear as possible, sort of all the steps. So, all right, so Justice Donut, just like we did the first time, we draw a circle. And you're probably bored of me saying it now, but it doesn't have to be a perfect circle. Don't worry about that. And then guess what? A little one in the middle. And then we're going to draw two more up here. So far, it just kind of looks like sprinkles again, right? So basic donut shape. But it's about how you change it then. It's about what you draw slightly differently with just a few little lines different that make it feel like a very different character. So we'll give him his little dots for eyes. But Sprinkles looks happy and friendly and sort of welcoming. Justice Donut should look angry and full of righteous justice. So we're going to draw these lines going across the eyes like that to make it look kind of like he's squinting a bit, like he's if you're ever stuck for how to draw a face, just sort of try making the face that you're drawing, try sort of feeling that emotion and see what your face is doing, and try and draw that. So he's got eyebrows sort of going down in the middle like that. And then instead of a big happy smile, he's going to have sort of gritted teeth like that going grrr. And then we draw two big lines going right across his face, body, whatever that is, to make like a ninja mask. So the two lines that make a sort of bandana, and then you draw this shape at the back where it's sort of tied together at the back. So you've got this like two bits sticking out where it's been tied at the back.
That does raise a very good existential question. Where does the donut's face end and the body begin?
I haven't got too deeply into like the biology of these guys, and that's probably for the best, I think. So we'll have another sort of wavy line going like that around the bottom, because he's a glazed ring donut. And yeah, then again, little arms and legs, but this time we want to be in a bit of an action pose because he's always leaping around and doing action-packed things. So we'll draw one sort of arm coming up this way, and one arm sort of coming down that way. So it's got a bit more dynamism in the pose. He's sort of pointing in different directions. And then we're going to draw a clenched fist. Now, hands can be quite tricky to draw. My tip for drawing hands would be, first of all, whether you're left-handed or right-handed, you always have one spare hand, right? So if I'm drawing with my left hand, I have a spare hand that I can sort of make the shape I want to see. In this case, I want to draw a fist, so it's going to be sort of kind of sausage shape going that way, like that. And then one, two, three sausage shapes going that way. So, and then just sort of join them up. And then this one is going to be pointing in the other direction because like one fist going that way, one fist going down. So this one, we're not going to see all the fingers individually. We're just going to see sort of the outline of the same shape like that. And then little legs, one sticking out like that. And then this one is going to be sort of bent behind him So it looks like he's doing a cool ninja leap. And of course, because it's Justice Donut, shouting the word justice. So I think what would be cool to do now would be to try and come up with a new character, a new member of the Donut Squad. And so the way I would do that, if I was, well, my simple tip for coming up with ideas for characters is basically, do you know what? If I can I share my screen again for 1 second, so I can show you the next couple of things. Because the creative process can be somewhat mysterious, and it can be coming up with characters can be difficult. Coming up with ideas can seem a bit hard or mysterious. And so I've come up with this technique for coming up with ideas for stories and characters to take a bit of that mystery out of it, to make it just like a fun game and not a scary, mysterious thing. Essentially, you take a thing that is awesome, you combine it with a second thing that is awesome, and that gives you a thing that is totally super awesome. The usual example I use of this is dinosaurs are awesome, jetpacks are awesome. Stick a jetpack on a dinosaur, straight away you have a comic that I would want to read. But if you fix one of the points of the awesome thing as donut and then combine it with something else, that's a way of, well, that's basically can describe a lot of the different characters in Donut Squad. So if you take the concept of donut and combine it with ghost, that gives you Chalky the Ghost Donut. Or if you take the concept of donut and combine it with ninja, that gives you our friend we've just drawn, Justice Donut. So what we want to do is I'm going to go back to the drawing screen if I can. Stop share. Okay. So we want, basically, we're going to brainstorm some ideas for things that are awesome that can be combined with the concept donut. So I'm just going to write donut in the middle here. And then we're going to brainstorm a bunch of other things that are awesome. So, for example, well, we had ninja, didn't we? And dinosaurs, I've mentioned. I always like dinosaurs. What else could we have, though? So, if anyone's got any other suggestions for things that are awesome, things you might see in a comic,
Um,
oh, they're
half,
flying across the screen. This is great.
half unicorn we've got. Vampire,
New vampire. That's good.
astronaut. Oh my gosh, this is
Oh.
going so fast. Zombie.
Yeah, you read them as fast as you can, and I'll write them as fast as I can.
I absolutely will. Bees.
Bees, bee nut.
Oh, we're seeing a lot of axolotl as well.
I don't want to draw that. They're hard. They're hard to spell, and they're harder to draw.
Skateboarding.
Oh, okay, yeah. Skateboarding.
What else do we have? We have a lot of robot. A lot of robots coming through.
Love it. Well, obviously, I
Yeah,
think
obviously.
robots are awesome.
Capybara.
Capybara.
Let's see. Rugby. Rugby's coming through quite
Rugby,
heavily.
yeah. Okay. A lot of rugby fans out there.
Roman warrior. That one's amazing.
That sounds cool.
Grandpa. Your grandpas are awesome. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Welsh dragon specifically.
I'm going to write dragon because that's awesome, and then I'm going to write specifically in brackets Welsh.
How many more do you want? Do you want a couple more?
Yeah, one or two more maybe.
An ancient Egyptian mummy.
Oh, love it. Yeah.
A Second World War donut.
What? World War II donut.
Oh, and then the last one, Neill Cameron donut.
Oh, wow. Okay, well. Thank you very much for the implied compliment, whoever that was.
And we're seeing cow quite a lot as well.
Okay, cows are having a moment, I think. Cows are awesome. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to pick one of these to draw as a just to a donut version of, and I've kind of got a ninja one already. I quite like the idea of a Roman one. So I'm trying to think what I haven't drawn before. This is the fun thing about doing this, is it sort of makes me have to draw things I've never drawn before, and that keeps you on your toes as an artist. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Roman donut, that's quite nice. Um, I like capybara, but I don't know how to draw a capybara, and I can't use Google image search because I'm using both my devices for this.
They're
So
kind of like big beavers, I think, capybaras, aren't they?
okay, yeah, yeah. Vampire donut. All right, well, I'll give it a try. Why am I doing this to myself? No one is forcing me to do this to myself. Uh, and yet I find myself writing capybara donut. Uh, all right, so we're going to pick one of these. So if you can, you're now able to use your vote. So if you type either the word Roman, vampire, or capybara into the chat, then we will see. We'll try and get a sense of what's the most popular.
Oh, I'm so
Uh...
sorry. It's definitely capybara.
How did I know that that would happen? It's just,
I,
as I
yeah,
wrote the word, I had a sinking feeling.
I've never seen the word capybara so often in my life. The word has
I
lost
was
all
like,
meaning.
why are you doing this to yourself, Neil? And yet I couldn't stop it. So here we go, capybara.
Do you want me to
Yeah,
try
that's
and get a capybara picture up for you?
no, it's fine.
No,
I'll
gonna...
it's like a big gerbil, you said, right?
Yeah, big gerbil. I think it's got big teeth.
Yeah, yeah, I can, yeah,
Yeah, a big
yeah, it's
tail.
fine. It's fine. It may not be, completely again like biologically accurate, but also it's a donut, so that's probably
Yeah, it's
fine.
got kind of like a snout, like a dog kind of.
Okay, okay.
I
All
like
right.
that
Well,
made it
tell you
less.
what. What we're going to do is we're going to start from first principles and draw a donut. But because capybaras, I'd imagine, are sort of fluffy and furry, right? So we're going to draw a kind of fluffy, furry donut. So sort of round shape, but using this kind of bumpy, furry line, if you see what I mean. And then I think we want it to be a ring donut because otherwise it'll just look like a little weird squashy capybara. So we'll draw. Is it weird that that is making me hungry already? All right, so I'm going to give him little eyes at the top, like with other ones we've done. But I'm going to draw his eyes a bit different so that he looks more sort of, I don't know, animal-like. So we're going to draw a sort of shape inside like that. And then another little circle down here. This is sort of one of your classic techniques for drawing cute eyes, a sort of little cartooning trick. And you color in this sort of crescent moon shape. So you color this bit in black and leave those white circles alone. And that gives you cute little eyes. Oh,
They're much bigger than I thought. Google is telling me they're at least 60 centimeters tall.
60 centimeters tall. Well, that's a very large donut, first of
Yeah.
all. So, all right, so then I'm going to give him a little sort of nose like that. I may have just fixated on the word gerbil, and I may mostly be drawing a gerbil donut at this point.
I mean, when it's a donut, who can tell?
And I'm going to give him big teeth pointing down like that. Oh, I mean, he looks quite cute, whether or not he looks like a capybara. Would they have big ears or little ears?
They have normal sizes, like a cat.
That doesn't help me.
Sorry, like a cat, as in normal size proportion to their head. Oh,
Okay,
actually,
sort of like
quite small. Quite small ears, yeah,
like that.
yeah, like that, yeah.
Oh, okay. And
And
then I'm going to give him little sort of paws sticking out like the front. So he's like that, like a
yeah,
yeah. So he's going to just have little sort of paws like that, and then little paws down at the bottom like that.
and they do have whiskers as well, if that's helpful.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I forgot. So 1, 2, 3 over there. 1, 2, 3 over there. I mean, maybe it's more of a hamster donut, but it looks pretty adorable either way.
Maybe it's a hamster with dreams of being a capybara.
One day I'll make it. Well, there you go. So we've got a bit of character for him. Now, I think the one more thing we need to do to make him fully a character, of course, is just give him a name, him or
Mm.
her a name. So what do we think? What's a good name for a cute little capybara donut?
Hmm.
Any
Any
suggestions?
suggestions? We would happily. Someone said Kathy.
Cafe? Okay, yeah. Um,
Cuddles.
Cuddles the capybara donut. I saw the word fury fly
Yes, I
up,
did just
which
see that. Yeah,
I absolutely love.
yeah.
Fury the capybara
The
donut.
donut, who is the cutest thing you've ever seen.
Yeah, but then like if provoked, he goes into an absolute rage, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with I saw Nibbles
Nibbles is a very good
fly
one.
up. Nibbles the capybara donut, which I like very much. And do you know what? I think I just checked the time, and I think we've maybe got time to do one more actually,
Yeah.
because he turned out to be quite quick. So, and I've got one piece of paper left. So,
Oh, perfect.
let's see. Well, what was the
We
what
had,
we also talked about possibly doing the Roman donut
yeah,
or a vampire donut.
yeah. I'm
I
seeing the word Roman quite a lot, but
Okay, Roman sounds quite
oh, but
fun, right?
yeah, vampire is also they're tied, so I think it's up to you.
Oh, okay. Um, I'm just trying to think if I know how to draw a Roman hat. All right, you're gonna little behind the scenes peek. I'm gonna try and draw a Roman hat, and if I can figure out how to draw a Roman hat, then we'll go with that. It'd be sort of like that,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then it's got like a sort of
Feathery thing.
feathery
Yeah,
thing on top.
yeah,
That roughly.
yeah.
I
Like
mean,
hold a spear or
obviously Romans had all kinds of different hats. I'm not trying to generalize about Romans and their hats, but okay, all right. So we're gonna draw a Roman donut. Sure, why not?
yeah.
Um, we're gonna start this time in a slightly different way because I haven't got a pencil, so I can't sort of do one bit at a time. So I'm gonna sort of start with the eyes this time. And if he's a Roman warrior, then that implies sort of quite a sort of tough, mean
Mm.
demeanor. So he's going to be again also sort of stoic, I suppose, right? So sort of not quite as angry, just kind of stoic. Yeah, there we go. Now I'm going to draw his hat before I draw the rest of him because I think that's important. Um, helmet, I suppose, is the word that I've been searching for, isn't
No, I think hat works.
it? So draw a big shape like that going up on around, and then on top of that, we're going to have sort of a couple of sections like that. And then this kind of feathery, again, kind of like a punk haircut, but
I'm trying to think of the physiology of how the hat is sitting on the donut.
you clearly have quite a scientific way of looking at
Yeah,
these things, which I admire, but I'm not sure it's always
don't think it's going to do me any good here.
strictly relevant. Okay, so then we're going to give him. We want to give him a shield, don't we? He's going to have one of these big sort of square-looking sort of Roman centurion shields, and it can have like a donut sort of emblem in the middle of it to say that he's a member of the Donut Legion. And I realise now that I've made it much too long, so it will be sort of dragging along the ground when he walks.
I think their shields were pretty long though.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So then we'll draw the rest of his little donut body now, just sort of joining up like that. We'll give him a bit of icing now to make it clear that he is a donut. Like he may be a fierce Roman donut, but he is still a donut. Um, and then I think, yeah, spear, right? So
Yeah.
if you remember how we drew the sort of fist, that 1, 2, 3, like that. But then in it, we're going to be. Oh, I figured out how to fix my long shield problem. I'm going to draw a very long spear as well. Or did they have tridents, or was that just gladiators? I'll
I
just
don't
give them a
know.
spear. I'm
Yeah.
overcomplicating it.
Maybe it's a
So
spear
that
that can turn into a trident.
yeah, press the button and just a couple of
Yeah.
other pop out.
Bits come out.
So he's like standing straight. He's standing to attention. He's standing like it's a time for a military drill. but he's a donut, so he's a lot shorter than all the other Roman legionaries. So he's just going to be standing on a box. And there we go. There is
Oh,
our
perfect.
new character, but who needs a name, of course. So
We've had the
what?
suggestion of Romeo
Romeo,
or Julius Jamicus
Jamicus.
or
What is the
Ronut.
Ronut? Sounds quite good. General delicious. Okay. I'm going to sort of combine a couple of suggestions that I'm seeing sort of fly past, and I'm going to go with Delicious Maximus.
The puns that are coming through are just top notch. Well done, everyone.
So there we've got our brand. Well, we've got all the characters from Donut Squad who exist already, and then our brand new characters, Nibbles the Capybara Donut and Delicious Maximus, the Roman donut. I wonder what flavor a Roman donut would be. It'd probably be something weird, wouldn't it?
Like spelt or something.
Yes, spelt and dormouse or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So there we go. There are some. That's how easy it is to come up with a couple of new characters. And when you draw in quite a simple cartoony style, when you draw little round shapes like donuts, it does make it very sort of quick and easy to come up with ideas. And so I hope you will have a go yourselves at maybe creating some new characters of your own and having a go at drawing them. So yeah, I did. If we had any other questions that people wanted to ask while we're here.
We've got some questions. Let me just see. What would you do if my camera turned on and I just was Delicious Maximus?
I would be quite surprised, frankly.
Okay, we have a question from the Brunel Primary School who say, Dama class would love to know how you come up with your character names.
That's a good question. In with the donut characters, I have to try and force myself to come up with names that aren't just like word that is their sort of one character trait or gimmick plus donut, because that's a bit too easy. It's a bit too on the nose sometimes. So justice donut, anxiety donut, sad donut, because it becomes a bit, you'd want to try and be a bit more imaginative, but also you want a name that does tell you instantly like what the gag is and who this character is. So it's trying to sort of balance those things. Spronky, for example, is very weird and mysterious and inexplicable, and so I just wanted a name that sounded a bit weird and mysterious and inexplicable.
And it
Really.
worked. We have a lot of questions about kind of how you started becoming an author and a cartoonist. So a question from a home educator in Herefordshire asks, what made you want to start writing comics for the Phoenix?
Oh, well, so I just wanted to make comics ever since I was little, really. I just loved comics, basically. I loved drawing when I was little. I loved comics. I loved reading comics. I think a great thing about comics is it's so natural to read one and feel excited and then just grab some paper and start drawing your own. Like when I was a kid, I loved a comic about robots that turned into cars and punched other robots, and you had to wait a week every week for the next episode to find out what happened. But it was very exciting, and so naturally I would sort of grab some paper and a pen and start drawing robots turning into cars and punching out. Sort of, you're filling in the gap in a way. You're sort of drawing your own version of what might happen next. And so I think that's one of the great things about comics. It's such an easy medium to sort of dive into and have a go at yourself, even from a really young age. And so I just was always drawing comics. At some point when I was like a teenager, I persuaded my mum to like make some copies of my comic on her work photocopier, and I stapled them together and I sort of gave them to friends or started selling them for a bit of extra pocket money at school. And long story short, you keep drawing, you get better at drawing. At some point, I was fortunately able to, other people started asking me to draw comics like as an actual job. Yeah.
Amazing. We have a question from the Binstead Primary School in the Isle of Wight, and they ask, how do you plan out the ideas for your stories?
Oh, well, I mean, it varies wildly with different stories, I would say. The like Mega Robo Bros, for instance, my last series it took 10 years to make. There's 8 books in the series. It was a lot of planning and a lot of structure and a lot of
Mm,
writing a sort of outline and then writing a slightly more detailed outline and then writing a slightly more and then sort of really doing it step by step in a very sort of structured way like that. Because with comics, particularly, you sort of have to know like exactly how many pages they're going to be and exactly what's going to happen on which page. If you're writing
mm,
a prose book, you can kind of just da 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 keep on going, sort of let the story happen. But I'm writing for a weekly comic. I've got 4 pages a week. I know how many pages we can have in a book. I need to know sort of exactly where the beats are going to be. So
mm.
that involves a lot of structure and planning. Donut Squad, though, a complete relief. I don't really plan anything at all. I just draw whatever silly nonsense makes me laugh, and then we
Excellent.
then we have to try and turn it into a book, which is a whole other story. But just
Excellent.
I think there's definitely value to both approaches. It can be really helpful sometimes to think about and plan your stories before you sort of really start making them, but sometimes it can be really fun to just dive in and start making a thing and sort of let it surprise you along the way.
Absolutely. We have a question from Gina Thomas who asks, who are some of your favorite comic book artists?
Oh, well, some of my favorite comic book artists. The temptation is just to name people like I know and friends with because I work for a comic called The Phoenix, and a lot of us sort of by this point know each other, and I'm huge fans of so many of the artists in The Phoenix. Jamie Smart, I think, is incredible. Laura Ellen Anderson, Jess Bradley, she's one of my favorite cartoonists in the world. Abby Bulmer. There's so many great people working on that comic, but it sounds a bit, just naming people I know. Um, the My favorite sort of cartoonist of all time probably is a cartoonist called Bill Watterson, who drew a comic strip called Calvin and Hobbes years ago, back when I was a kid. I had a paper round, and I used to like read other people's papers and read Calvin and Hobbes before putting them through the letterboxes. It's so funny and it's so imaginative, and it's just such a beautiful piece of art. So I definitely would recommend him to anyone who's not read Calvin and Hobbes.
Absolutely. They are absolute classics, Calvin and Hobbes.
Hmm.
We've had this question from a lot of people, and they want to know if you had to be one of the Donut Squad, who would you be?
If I had to be one of them, I'm trying to think of like a clever, logical way to answer this question, right? There's a new one. I don't think he's in the book, but I've drawn a couple of comics about him who's called Indestructo Nut, who is
Oh,
a donut who is indestructible. But he doesn't seem very happy about being indestructible. He seems kind of bummed out. So, so maybe not him. I could be Daddy Billions because he's a billionaire, and that might be a fun thing to be. But he seems kind of like a jerk, so
yeah.
I don't want to be that. I think I just have to stay true to my inner self and say I'll just be Anxiety Donut because he is stressed out all the time, but he seems all right again next week. So
Yeah, he kind of gets
he's
it done, doesn't he?
he's resilient. Yeah, that's quite good to me.
Beech Grove Primary wants to know, will there be a Mega Robo Bros versus Donut Squad book?
Oh, I don't know. That would seem really weird, and I don't know how that would even work. But never say never. I have me and my son has been drawing since he was little a comic called The Villainoos, which now is a comic in the Phoenix that he writes and I draw. And we did make a special issue where the Mega Robo Bros fight the Villainoos. So maybe Mega Robo Donut Squad could happen one day. I don't know.
Tonally quite different, but
Totally quite different. But Freddie does enjoy donuts
that's
and
true.
fart
No,
jokes, and so there is crossover.
what if he eats one of the squad?
He would eat the whole squad and go back
Yeah.
for seconds. That's the thing. It could be quite a. If there was a Mega Rose Donut Squad crossover, it could end very badly for the Donut Squad.
So we have a question from Oakwood Primary School who ask, why do you think reading is so important, and how do you think it has helped you in life?
Oh my goodness, that's a big question,
Question.
isn't
Yeah.
it?
Just a really quick answer would be great.
Yes. I think, I mean, it's so important for lots of sort of, reasons that don't sound exciting, but are really important, just like to function in the world and, work and live in the world, you have to be able to read. It's important. And so you have to acquire these skills. And so I think doing so in a way that's fun is really important. But it's so much more than that, beyond that, like some of the greatest parts of my life are not things in the real world. They're like worlds I know from reading in stories. You know what I mean? And like some of the people who mean the most to me are not real people. They're people I've met in stories, and I feel like I know so well. And from all parts of the world and from all periods of history and from all different societies. And that's such a beautiful thing, you know, that's such a beautiful thing that we can encounter other human beings in such a sort of detailed and important and meaningful way just
Mhm.
through the words that they put down on a page and the drawings that they make, you know. So I think it gives you so much and it opens you up so much and it enriches your life so much, quite apart from all the, you know, literacy is important and you need to get a job reasons, you know, it's
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, that wasn't a quick answer, but that was the quickest
That was,
answer I could do.
that was literally a perfect answer. I think we have a lot of budding artists who are watching. I think I saw someone write that one of their students is writing a comic about a gorilla, which is amazing.
Excellent.
So, Home Educator from Harrow wants to know, what is your advice for cartoonists?
So I would say my advice for cartoonists is just, well, it sounds obvious, but just draw a lot. Um, you're going to be doing that anyway. If you're the sort of person who's becoming a young cartoonist, it's because you love drawing. So it's not me having to tell you you're going to be doing that anyway. Maybe sort of force yourself out of your comfort zone a bit, force yourself to draw things that are not what you would naturally sort of gravitate to. Like when I was a
Mm.
kid, I just wanted to draw robots, and my art teacher at school, bless her, would try and make me, you know, paint oil paintings of a bowl of fruit, and I was like, oh, this is so boring. I hate it. But she was trying to teach me something, and it is important to be able to draw lots of different things. You know, you will to be a comics artist specifically, you need to be able to draw all sorts of things, just anything. A scene could be set anywhere. You know, you have to be able to draw cool, exciting things and things exploding and funny things happening, but also just people sat in a room, people sat in a kitchen and make it look like a convincing kitchen and uh, body language and cats and dogs and just do a bit of like force yourself to draw things that are not naturally what you want to draw, but then reward yourself by drawing some gorillas punching each other or whatever your thing is. You know, try and have a bit of
Excellent.
balance.
Gorillas punching each other in a very realistic kitchen.
I want to
Um,
read that comic straight away. That
yeah.
sounds great.
We've had this question from lots of people, but everyone wants to know, what was your favorite part of creating Donut Squad?
Oh wow. Do you know? Just just the fact that it exists. It originally came about because I've been working on Mega Robros for a long time, and just sort of the pressure of like finishing it and
Mm,
ending this giant epic story was a lot, and I really wanted it to be good, and I am really proud of the ending. But it was a lot of like pressure, and so just as a weird release valve, I think my brain just like I was just sitting there and I was like, I know what'd be funny. I'm just going to draw some funny little donut guys, just the stupidest jokes. And I wasn't sure if it was remotely appropriate like for the Phoenix, but I thought I'll draw a few and I'll send them to my editor Joe at the Phoenix because I think they'll make him laugh.
mm.
And so even if no one else ever sees these, I think he'll enjoy them. And he did enjoy them and encouraged me to actually draw it. And so I think I just really enjoy sending each sort of batch in and like picturing Joe's little face when he sees what nonsense I've done now, and like what nonsense he will want to see more of. Then that'll spur me on to even more nonsense. It's just a very very fun comic to make.
Oh, great! And I think that really comes across on the page. To be honest,
Oh yeah, that's the goal, right?
yeah, absolutely. Now I do apologize. I'm going to have to ask you a bagel related question.
We'll allow it. Sure.
I can't remember who asked this, but they want to know: will there be a bagel book?
Oh, I mean, I would love that so much. We like genuinely we were tr we there's the version of a book that you can actually make and that is physically possible and like the economics of making it are realistic. And that's the version you end up with. The version you start with is what we would love to make. And like we wanted to make like a Donut Squad book that you got halfway through, and then inside there was another little book that came out and it was a Bagel Battalion book. Or a Donut Squad book that you flip it over and like if you read it the other way round, it's a
It's
Bagel Battalion book. Like that'd be so great. But then where would you put the barcode and the
yeah,
ISBN? It's just boring stuff like that that sort of gets in the
yeah.
way, you know. But yeah, ideally, I would love that. I would. And we're always trying to think of ways to sort of do fun things with that are also physically possible to achieve in the world.
Justice for the Bagel Battalion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, one last question, and I'm sorry I have to ask because everyone has asked this. What is your favorite type of donut?
Um, I feel like I knew this question might be coming, and so I was thinking about it because it's a hard question. And the Donut Squad comes from my love of donuts, going back deep into childhood. I think, and so and there are many different kinds and many different great donuts, but I think of all donuts, my favorite of all, it's not a flavor exactly, but it's a type. It's like fairground donuts or like sort
Ooh,
of pier donuts, seaside donuts. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like from a van, just in a paper bag,
yeah.
fresh out of the thing,
Oh,
rolled in sugar, hot, fresh donuts. That's the
oh
best
my
donut.
god, I'm so hungry now. And I'm in
I'm so
Kensington. I'm
sorry.
nowhere near the sea. I get to donut
No, no
ASAP.
fairgrounds nearby you can nip out to at lunchtime.
Unfortunately, not. I'll start a
Oh,
petition.
it's a real shame. Yeah.
Well, that is all we have time for. I could literally stay chatting to you all day about donuts, etc. But thank you so much, Neill. This was amazing. And thank you to everyone watching for all of your absolutely wildly imaginative suggestions for names and awesome things. We'd love to see pictures of your drawings of your own version of Delicious Maximus or what Nibbles, the capybara donut.
Nibbles the capybara donut. Yeah.
Capybara donut. And maybe you can show us what the vampire donut would look like, guys, if you want to draw your own one.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much, Neill. This was an absolutely fantastic way to spend a morning.
Yeah, no, thank you. That was really fun. Thanks everyone for coming along.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Have an amazing rest of your day.